The wonder of home.
The wonder of home.
The wonder of home. The wonder of home.
We're back.
Hi.
All right. So with beautiful Renee from Flourish Mama again, because we all
Hello.
love you so much. People have raved about you. So we've gotten you back.
Thank you.
And we are going to talk about the maybe not so exciting topic, but we're going to talk about it anyway, because I feel like this is something you would come across a lot, which is the topic of body image as everyday homemakers, like our own personal body image. We believe about our bodies, like personally, but then I think even to a certain extent, what we believe about ourselves, we also can project nearly onto others, onto our kids, blah, blah, blah. And so I suppose I just want you to like share what are some things you found, what are being in like the fitness industry, definitely probably an industry that doesn't speak positively into the different shapes and sizes of our bodies. You would be an expert in this field. So what do you think? What do you think, I suppose to start, what do you think is the most common, I don't want to say symptom because it sounds like doctors or something, but like a trait, actually that's it, a trait. What's a common trait that you've come across? Obviously Flourish Mama, working with different mums and women. What's the common thing that you have come across?
I think, so first of all, it's really helpful to know that everybody has a body image. It's about how we think and feel about ourselves. And it can sometimes be really difficult to understand why someone's behaving in a certain way because you don't necessarily know what their belief about themselves is. So we know that body image, well, I believe that body image is one of those core foundational things that really impacts how we show up in our life. You know, there's studies showing that girls stop raising their hands at a certain age. They stop participating in sport at a greater rate. And that is because, or, you know, 7-year-olds.
What age is that?
Under 15.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So we're talking young. Body image established young.
And girls, you know, talking about diets and things at the age of 4 and 5. 4 and 5 now, which is wild. You know, if we look back on us as little kids, you just think like how devastating. How devastating that we
the pressure
can create these worlds in which women and men, but a lot more women at the moment, exist in a place where we feel like, based on how we look or how we feel about ourselves, we stop living life, you know? And so obviously I've got 2 little girls, and so I'm really passionate about trying to create a society and spaces around us where we look at what our bodies can do for us, what they like to do, not looking at someone and deciding their health based on the size of their body.
So even I made like that comment in like the previous episode where a lot of the time when I was growing up, because I've been skinny my entire life. And so many people, especially I noticed it in high school, and I'm so thankful that my mum was amazing at you know, just empowering me to be me. I was never self-conscious about it. So it was never something that I was like insecure about. Like that's who I was. I was skinny, I was little. But in high school, I really noticed a lot of people commenting to me like, oh, you must really watch your diet. Or even now, like, oh, you must really watch what you eat. And I'm like, pretty sure I eat you under the table in regards to how much I eat. Like, you have no idea. Like, I'm blessed with a fast metabolism. But like I said in the previous, I'm also like, have been very unfit. But a lot of people would think that, oh, she watches her Like,
Yeah.
must watch her diet so she can like wear that, or she must work out a lot.
Yeah.
Thumbs
But
up.
isn't that interesting? There's that thumbs up. Isn't that interesting though, that there's a comment at all about the fact that because you're in the body you're in, it means something about who you are?
Yes.
You're more dedicated to eating a certain way, which, is, as you've just said, is not actually the case.
I'm terrible. Love Maccas.
And likewise, if you put that in perspective to someone who might be in a bigger body, they must be unhealthy, or they're lazy, or so our body image comes from different messages that we've received throughout our life. It comes from things we see on TV, things we see in movies. How often is the bad person? Social media. Conversations with our grandparents and aunties and older women in our life. Other people commenting on our bodies from such a young age. How often do you see in movies the one that never gets the love that is all, or is there,
like the
unkind
of the story
person is always in a larger body.
They're
unconsciously creating this narrative that people in whatever, in this case specifically, a bigger body in that case, are not worthy of love, lazy, they're this, and that's not true. No matter what size body we're in, we take on these messages. So which can be really hard, honestly.
It's so hard to work through.
Really hard. And then you go, okay, so how does that impact how we show up in life? How we feel about ourselves can impact how we're going to go for promotions, how we're going to ask for the things we need, how we're going to believe that we're worth making time for, to exercise and to eat well and to move out, all those health promoting behaviors. So it impacts how we think about ourselves, the actions we take when we're having a challenging body image day. It impacts the clothes we might wear. It impacts so many things,
which is actually so massive, can I say?
Exactly.
The clothes alone, coming from someone that's small, where
infuriating.
I would get everything in her size, but some of my friends are beautifully curvy. I have to create illusions that I have curves because I'm just like a stick. But isn't it funny? You always kind of want what you don't have. I love my body. I'm happy with my body. But I was just using it as an example of even just clothes options. I worked in JJ's for, not sponsored. I worked in JJ's, love that job, for a couple of years. And we used to get so many women that would come in, and I used to just roll my eyes because they were curvy in jeans, but jeans didn't go up to their size. And I'm talking a size 16. To me, that's I think it is the average size of an Australian woman is isn't it 12, 14, 16? That's actually the average. And they didn't have that. But recently, you're welcome, JJ's, I've been in there, and I think they even go up to an 18 now. And so they've evolved to be more diverse in accommodating. Because I was like, what? How discriminating? You have to go to a certain store to find something to fit your body shape.
And what does that say about
mentally?
I can only, if you're thinking about going to clothes, even the differences in sizes across brands, there's been such stigma around what size pants you wear. You go to one shop and you're a certain size, and you go to a different shop and you're 3 sizes bigger. And then you suddenly pile this story on, I'm white, I can't believe I'm in this size. I can't believe this. I can't believe that.
It defines who you are.
It's not they just don't have their measurements the same across stores,
or it's probably actually cheaper because that's how most businesses would run. It would be cheaper. There's less profit. actually in it probably for them to have that size in.
It's just
It's actually
wild.
that like brutal.
Mm. And that's
Yeah.
the challenge with thinking about how we think about ourselves is really, and our bodies, is
Yeah.
really understanding where all of this layered messages have come from, you know, and why we do the things that we do. So are we going to the gym, you know, as something as simple as exercising, for example? Are we going to the gym in a way in order to become healthier?
Yeah.
Or are we going to the gym in order to punish ourselves for some food we've eaten?
Yeah.
You know, it's the same action, but the intention is very different.
Yeah,
And
because
the
even you go to
impact,
the gym, how many calories did you burn? I would
yeah,
honestly be like, I don't know.
yeah. And the impact on
I
our
don't know.
mental health from both of those, like if we look at, if you go in those different ways, if you're exercising for your health, the impact on your mental health is not as negative. If you're going to burn off something, it's steeped in shame and guilt and fear
Yeah, wow.
of
Yeah.
body, you know, like of yourself, of your what your
Yeah.
body might look like,
Yeah.
because we've been told that we should look a certain way in order to be worthwhile. And
Yeah.
it is really an ongoing challenge to try and identify how we're feeling on it.
Yeah.
You know, our body image can change from day to day. Like,
Yeah, and I was actually just about to say that, like it would be such a fine line or even like a gray area, like between, I think for someone that is like on the skinnier side like myself or someone that is more curvy like yourself, the difference between like what am I when I'm unhealthy and what am I like when I am healthy. You see, like for me at unhealthy, it's really skinny. Like it's as in like I'm not putting on weight or I'm not keeping my weight on.
yeah,
Because then I notice I'm unhealthy because I crash really early and I crash
yeah,
really hard, like at night, like when I want to be present with my kids, I'm like, you know, like trying to keep my eyes open.
yeah,
Or being unhealthy is I'm actually drinking too much coffee and I'm not
yeah,
drinking enough water.
yeah,
I'm burning this false energy to just
yeah,
keep carrying through. I love
yeah.
it. All right. So yeah, but I'm just saying like that's my reflection of that's Mel being unhealthy and not looking after herself. But it will be different for you.
Yeah, and it's we can go, you know, by how we feel. Like, so some people, this is the thing about health, it doesn't have a look.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so one of the big things that I'm really passionate about is also not commenting on other people's bodies,
Yeah.
because there is so much more about us than our body, right?
Like a story. You don't know that
Oh
person's
my God.
story.
You don't know their story.
Yeah.
And also, and that's a really important part. You know, if someone, for example, has lost weight, we don't know if that is because they're in a healthier spot
Or
or
they,
if they've been
yeah.
through anxiety and haven't eaten for 6 months.
Or they're actually even currently still smack bang in the middle of a huge medical condition.
Exactly.
Which like maybe they don't even talk about. Like I have a
Yeah.
couple of friends that have been through seasons of like, you know, like where weight or whatever is, oh, you're unhealthy, you're healthy, but they're actually in the background going through massive infertility
Yeah,
seasons.
exactly.
So actually for someone to comment that, oh, you know, you've put on weight, they have no idea of
No,
the story. It's actually quite insensitive to
it's,
even
yeah,
comment. Like,
yeah.
yeah,
And as I was kind of saying before, is then
yeah,
we make assumptions about that person,
yeah,
you know?
yeah,
And it's those stories. And we make assumptions about us. Like when
yeah,
we're struggling with body image, you just kind of like, what's wrong with me? I feel like this,
yeah.
and then we pile all the shame and guilt and fear and everything and make ourselves small
Yeah.
inside, you know, like, and it doesn't let us step into our life
Yeah.
like we
Yeah, you
are
don't
supposed
live,
to
do
do.
you?
We just, you know, we stop going swimming. We don't go swimming because we don't want to get in our swimmers. We
Yeah.
don't take photos of ourselves with our kids because we don't want to see ourselves on photos.
Yeah.
And our kids, they say, like, oh, like you jump in the water, all they see is their mum playing and dancing and
Yeah.
jumping and
They
being in
see
the photos with
you.
them, being silly. They see you, exactly.
Yeah.
And so it is such a huge topic.
Yeah.
One of the things that we can do to start like moving through this, if you're someone that struggles with body image, and as I said, it's like,
Yeah,
for me,
give us some steps.
it's a
Renee,
daily, like,
give me some hacks, or like, what
daily
is a
thing.
step if Mel's
Yeah.
having a low day?
Yeah. And you know, one of them is when we're looking at becoming healthy, we look at health promoting behaviors.
Yeah.
So we're looking at moving our bodies, drinking water,
Yeah.
lowering stress if we can, getting enough sleep, eating fruits and vegetables.
I'm so bad at sleep. Yeah.
Like, yeah. And
I
it's
stay up too late. Yeah.
so tricky, especially with kids and little babies, and we just
Yeah.
do the best we can, okay?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like,
It's seasonal, one day at a time.
one day at a time.
time.
And it really does impact how we show up. So, like, just be compassionate with yourself around sleep.
Yeah.
But so we're looking at, when we're thinking about becoming healthier, we think about behaviors that are healthy.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
we don't look at a scale and that doesn't tell us how healthy we are necessarily. So cool. I've had my water. I'm working on my sleep. I've moved my body. These are actually health promoting behaviors.
Yeah.
Then we can look at appreciating what our body does for us. So it sounds super simple, but you might get a list out and write down all the things that you can do in your body, what it affords you to do in your life, from seeing the ocean and hearing the ocean, to hugging your kids, to
Yeah.
walking, to creating and writing and speaking, you know, all of the things.
Yeah.
Feeling like hot and cold on your skin.
Yeah.
And then moving through from, we don't necessarily need to go from like a challenging body image to I love my body,
Yeah.
that body positivity side of things.
Yeah.
We can both have a hard day and acknowledge that our body deserves grace and
Yeah.
it deserves water and it deserves care. Okay,
It's like
so
a plant.
yeah, exactly. It's like a plant. We can think both things
Yeah.
can be
We
true.
are a plant.
Yeah, both things can be true. We can be having
Yeah.
a hard day, and
Yeah.
also my body deserves to have a really delicious, healthy, full of nutrient meal. I'm
Yeah.
not going to stop myself from eating because I feel a certain way today.
Yeah. It's fuel. Yeah.
Yeah. And then bringing in the self-compassion point of view, which sometimes we say, if you've grown up like wanting to achieve lots of things, if you feel like if you give yourself grace, that you won't achieve what you want to achieve, you know, that thought process of I can't be too kind to myself because I need to push myself.
Yeah.
But that kind of messaging doesn't drive us towards
Yeah.
what
It's
we
like a punishment, an underlying like punishing
Yeah.
yourself nearly, isn't it? If you
Yeah,
don't accomplish it.
exactly.
Yeah.
And that actually doesn't help us much.
It's
So
yeah,
we
you
know
really do things out of guilt because you don't want to get in trouble.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guilt and the shame, as I've said a few
You're the
times.
one being in
Yeah.
trouble at yourself. Like, you know,
Yeah.
it's like you've got a parent that's gonna
No.
get you. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you pile on all of these. I'm not good at this. I can't do this. I can never get that done.
Yeah.
And so, and we also know that mums, the study was mums who exercised purely for aesthetic goals didn't continue exercising long term.
Yeah.
So when we're looking at movement for health, we're looking at, we can measure that in lots of different ways of how we're progressing with our exercise.
Yeah.
But if we have just a sole view of how it looks, how, you know, how we want to change our body aesthetics or whatever, then we're less likely to stick to that movement.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting one because the whole fitness industry tells you change your body, you'll be happy, you'll be healthy.
You'll be happier. Yeah. You'll be healthy, but you'll be happier. And then you do all the things and you punish yourself with all the things and then you're still not happier.
Exactly. Yeah.
So then it's another thing you've got to do.
And there's
You're never
actually
satisfied. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's actually no evidence that suggests confidence even comes from a change of physique. So
Yeah.
that's kind of the inside job.
It would be like a self-belief thing, wouldn't it? Like,
Yeah, so that's the self-efficacy of knowing you can do something. So if it, in regards to like exercise, knowing that you're worth the effort
yes.
to move your body, then practicing that movement so you're confident in that movement. And then you're suddenly, oh, I can exercise. I'm someone who exercises.
Yeah. It's
That's
not the actual
worthwhile.
exercise though that makes you happy.
No,
It's
I
the
mean, it does
body.
support mental health. It
Yeah,
does
like the
support
physical,
all
the
of those
movement,
things.
like what we were talking about in the previous
Yeah,
episode.
yeah,
About the importance of movement for our bodies to function.
yeah.
Yeah.
But then if we bring in this self-compassion piece, we can think through how we can really lend ourselves the grace and the kindness that we deserve as humans. So we have the strength. I've got a few mentors, and one of my favorite ones, she was saying about we use the wisdom, strength, and committed care to turn towards ourselves in order to help us feel better when we're having a hard body image day.
Yeah.
So that would be, I'm standing at my cupboard, my clothes, I'm having one of those days, my clothes feel crap on my body. I have the wisdom to know this isn't a you problem. Like today is just one of those days. I'm going to change the outfit that I'm wearing and that it feels comfortable, turn away from the mirror, put something on that feels comfortable.
Yeah.
I'm going to have the strength to still do what I was going to do. So I'm going to put my clothes on. I'm still going to jump on a podcast and talk my truth and know that I have the confidence in who I am.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to have the committed care to have a cup of tea and soothe my system and sit with myself and help myself, just support myself after that.
Yeah.
So with this system, you're still doing the thing, but you're
Like
acknowledging that it's tricky
progress.
and we're moving slightly forward still.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not like this big, huge, like 180 kind of.
Yeah. Like
Just
I'm not going out
little by
anymore.
little. Yeah. Little by little.
And it's every day,
It's
like,
so every day, isn't it?
yeah.
I'm like so even, but I get so proud of myself when I do like my exercise or my movement. I number one dress for what's comfy, not what's trendy.
Yeah.
Usually it's like a big baggy t-shirt,
Yeah.
some tight socks and joggers.
Yeah.
And I'll usually take my headphones because I'm either listening to a podcast or music, depending on what I'm vibing that day.
Yeah.
And then nearly every single time after I've like moved my body, it could be a walk, it could be a gym, or it could even just be currently in our new house, we have so many stairs. It's actually just bringing the groceries up and down the stairs. Then I will make myself a coffee because I enjoy the coffee. Like not as like a reward that I did movement, but because like, that's like, your cup of tea that I'm like, yes, I've accomplished the stuff that I needed to do today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just one step at a time.
Yeah.
Usually it's a lot more on my plate than that, but it's like just acknowledging that one can really change your outlook for the day, definitely.
Yeah.
And how you feel about yourself. Yeah, like your body image. So like for you, Renee, I've got here a couple of questions. So the first one is, I feel like you've covered the first one already. So it was navigating body image pressures. I feel like you've already talked about that, about expectations and what other people think, the comments. We've kind of already discussed that. What about the balancing self-care with responsibilities, like especially when it comes to like our body image, like the responsibilities of the season of life you're in? Could be working full time or whatever, but then it's like the struggle with the juggle, I suppose, is what I kind of call it. You're never going to have everything balanced. You're never going to feel amazing about yourself 24/7, but I suppose like mentally, that the self-care part of your body image, or like, do you have an experience in your life where you can you feel comfortable to share, or that you can like give insight as to maybe when you've been through a similar thing, like to be kind of yourself? Like,
so firstly, I think in like a day where there's so much hecticness happening and we feel overwhelmed, maybe outside of ourselves.
Yeah.
I'm a big like advocate for breath work. So taking a couple of seconds, and I'm not saying sit down in the middle, or you could do this, but I'm not saying this. I'm saying take
in the middle of a shopping mall. Please continue.
close your eyes and think about, how am I really feeling?
Yeah.
So am I feeling overwhelmed? Am I feeling angry, anxious, happy, sad? Naming whatever we're feeling, whatever that emotion actually disarms it. So if we can identify, I'm feeling, I've got so much rage right now because I'm feeling this, that is like, it's not like a quick fix, but it disarms it in our bodies.
Yeah.
Our breath work is the quickest way for us to calm our nervous system, and the most accessible way, especially as mums.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to body image, so if you are going through a stage where your body is different, if it's changed, which, you know, this happens through the perinatal period, but also with things like chronic health conditions.
Yeah.
So a couple of years ago, I've had a thyroid issue for 10 years.
Yeah.
And I also am celiac.
Yeah.
And that was managed fine for 10 years, and then suddenly it wasn't. And so I decided, through a lot of back and forth and a lot of self-advocacy actually, because I knew that my body didn't feel right. And so I decided to get, I think I'd had so many biopsies of my thyroid, so many, because I was just like, it was huge. It's like, I didn't know what was going on. And I was advised that maybe I shouldn't get my thyroid removed. But my husband and I went through it, we chatted, and we ended up talking to a surgeon. They removed my thyroid, which, by the way, is a huge hormonal gland in our body. It regulates lots of our hormones.
Yeah.
And then they found that it had cancer in it. So it was very surprising. I actually don't like stats, because they're just like, the chances of you having cancer in there is like 0.1%. And then I ended up having, it was in there.
You need to go buy a lottery ticket, friend.
Oh, like, don't give me a stat, please.
Like, you think you're doing like the responsible thing for your body, which felt off, and then straight off the back of that, you kind of get hit for 6 for something you definitely were not expecting.
Yeah. And I wasn't.
And it's your body. Like, it's your body. Like, yeah.
And I was in the doctor's appointment by myself, because we really didn't think that there would be any news from that. You know, we thought that's what is going to happen. They're going to take it out. There'll be these implications like medication for life, which is fine. But when he said the cancer word, I was just like, oh.
The whole world. Oh,
I don't know how to explain how lonely it feels. And then to think, you know, it's been in my body, no one's picked it up. And it took me a while to be like, you didn't cause this. This is not your fault. There's so much in our health communication across everything where our health is put solely as our own fault. And it took me a while to be like, oh, okay, I've lived a healthy lifestyle, and this isn't my fault. And now what? And so thankfully, with that kind of cancer, they take it out and they'll do tests every year to follow up. But it's impacted the shape of my body, because now I need to, like, my whole body has changed in 2 years, which has been a really hard struggle, honestly.
Yeah.
And if not for the work that I've done with my coaches and mentors, I'm not sure where I would be mentally on, you know, and it's really hard. So if you've dealt with any health issues that are ongoing and you're just doing your best, all we can do is go back to those health-based behaviors and know that we live in a system that has certain conversations around bodies
Yeah.
and they're not accurate.
Yeah.
And you don't need to explain yourself to that,
Mm.
you know? Sometimes being in this body in the fitness industry where most personal trainers don't look like I do, I feel like sometimes I need to be like, but this is my story and this is it. But I'm like, hang on, I don't need to justify why I exist in this body. Like, it's
Yeah.
nobody's business
Yeah.
and it doesn't change who I am
And
or
what you're
my
passionate
expertise.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I've been working so hard on all the things to support myself. And some days I still have terrible body image days.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Same. Yeah.
everybody has them.
Yeah.
I think if we
Everybody
can,
has them.
yeah, if
Yeah.
we can talk about the fact that that person over there that looks like they've got it all together, that has amazing clothes that you perceive is
Yeah.
in their body,
Yeah.
they have terrible body image days too. And that isn't to say like, let's all cool, like have bad body image. It's
Yeah.
let's change the conversation
Yeah. Have
so that
grace
we
for
can
each
be
other.
more supportive of each other.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, thank you so much for sharing. Well, that was one of the reasons, like, too, that I wanted to get you on, because I just love like your vulnerability and your rawness. But I think that, or I'm totally biased, but like, I think that's what sets you apart from all the other fitness people that I see, which is probably even judgmental on my behalf. And I'm happy to own that. But I love that, you're in a quite, I would say, like even a challenging industry where it can be nearly like you don't fit the mold. But I
Yeah.
love that you've embraced that you don't, and you've made that like your point of difference, because I think that's so like empowering to other people too, because they look at the fitness industry. And obviously, this is a very big generalization. So I know that some people are going to probably listen and be like, Mel, you're being very stereotypical of the fitness industry. But like, really, that's what we get sold. I feel like that is the picture we get sold in the fitness industry. And so that's why every time I've had you on, I want you to like talk about that, there's more than that one view that we kind of get spammed with all the time. Like people that are doing great things in that lane, great. Like they're doing their lane. So it's not saying that people that aren't thriving in that aren't real or blah, blah, blah. Like they're doing them, they're thriving, that's great. But I think
absolutely.
there's definitely space for a conversation around fitness where it isn't, like you want to be a bodybuilder. Or like you just want to like have enough energy to actually be around your kids, and where you start to get that, or body image wise, you're like, I have really low days where I don't want to leave the house because I don't like how I look. Well, where can I start with that? So thank you, Renee, as always.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
If more women can
I
like
love it.
do the things that they want to do, like that that just makes my heart so happy. Being who they truly are. Oh gosh.
I know. And I think the world needs that. Like we don't need more of the same type of person. I'm always saying that to my kids. Like you be you, because there is no one else like you.
Oh, we have the conversation. I say to my daughters all the time, you have your own special sparkle.
Oh,
And the world needs your sparkle, because otherwise it won't light up properly.
No. Oh, that's so cool.
Like it needs your version of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise the world doesn't
shine the
function.
same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. And I think it's so important. I think even like we were saying, like in our younger girls and boys as well, obviously, like that body image like area, to just be aware of it. Like we don't have to be afraid of it too, I think.
No.
But like, we can only do what we can do as parents in our home. And I think we champion our kids and we love them and we give them as many like tools too. Like there's cool tools out there and resources about body image, great books and things like that, about everyone being different, everyone being like shaped different.
Yeah.
I think it's really good. I'm gonna like finish on a funny story, which is like, oh, thank goodness I had a great body image day this day. But my youngest daughter, she's 4, she drew me a picture at school. Actually, it's on my fridge. I'm gonna get it. But oh no, this isn't the same. Actually, I just realized. This picture was from like my daughter. She drew me this picture, and this is of me. But this is the second version, because
Yeah.
the first version, I had blonde hair because I used to have blonde hair like 2
Yes.
months ago, and then I got bored and I dyed it myself.
Yeah.
And so I became a brunette overnight.
Yeah.
And she made her original picture that she made for me at school. She's like, "Oh, Mum, this is of you." And I had blonde hair, and I just made the comment, "Oh, that's when I had blonde hair. I love that." And she goes, "Yeah, that's from when you were younger and prettier."
Yeah. The conversations they have.
Love you.
Like,
Love
take
you
it
so much.
Ooh.
So
Yeah.
glad that I'm confident in myself today. Thank you.
And I think as mums, like, we do have a pretty big impact on the conversations to have with our kids around that stuff. Is like,
Yes.
oh, if my kids are like, why do they do that when I like jiggle? And I'm like, oh, that's just my legs. They're so strong. And look where I get to go
Yeah,
with my legs.
that's so, I know, spin
You know,
it. Spin it,
like,
girlfriend.
or she's like, oh, look at your tummy.
Yeah,
And
I
they're
love
so,
that.
I lived in that tummy. And I'm like, you lived in that tummy. Like, that is wild. I'm still
Yes.
so just like, how did I grow babies?
That's so cool. I know a couple of my friends are pregnant, and I'm like, it's the coolest thing. It's the most empowering thing. Don't listen to the haters. Don't listen
Yeah.
to the trauma. Listen to like your body, and like your bodies were created to do this. It's so
Yeah.
cool. I know.
It's so wild.
So
And
wild. So that's
yeah.
like a little that's a little end story. Apparently I was prettier and younger when I had blonde hair.
And you're like, yeah, sure. That was yesterday.
Obviously liked me better with blonde hair, which is fine. That's your opinion.
Oh, that's funny.
Yes, but thank you for joining us, my friend. I'm
No
sure
problem.
we'll have you on again. I'm
I'd
sure
love to.
you'll rave. But yes, have a good afternoon. Enjoy the school pickup. That's where I'm manically going next.
Enjoy.
And yes, enjoy. Bye. Thank you everyone for listening.
Bye.